Welcome to Lesson 2.2, Client Rights and Responsibilities. When someone begins receiving home care services, they do not give up control over their life. Our clients remain individuals with rights, preferences, opinions, routines, and choices. As a care partner with Agnes and Sandy's Caring Hands, you have a responsibility to protect those rights while providing safe, respectful, and compassionate care. One of the most important things to remember throughout your employment is this: you are working in the client's home. Even though it may be your workplace, it is still their home, and they should always be treated with dignity and respect. Agnes and Sandy's Caring Hands practices client-centered care. This means we don't simply walk into someone's home and decide how their day should go. Care should reflect the client's assessed needs, preferences, abilities, goals, and approved service plan. Whenever possible, clients should participate in decisions involving their care. Your role is to support the client, not control the client. Every client must be treated with dignity and respect. Never speak down to a client because they're elderly, disabled, or have cognitive impairment. Don't treat an adult like a child. Don't mock their behavior, appearance, home, family, beliefs, or limitations. Don't use insulting nicknames or disrespectful language. Even when a client cannot communicate effectively, they should still be spoken to and treated respectfully. Their diagnosis does not diminish their humanity. Home care is different from working in a facility because your workplace belongs to someone else. Don't walk into a client's home and behave as though you own it. Don't eat their food unless specifically permitted. Don't invite friends or family members into the client's home. Don't use their television, computer, personal items, or other belongings for your own entertainment without permission. Don't unnecessarily rearrange their belongings because you prefer things organized differently. Respect the home, the client's belongings, and their personal space. Privacy extends beyond HIPAA. Physical privacy is equally important. If you're helping a client bathe, dress, toilet, or complete another personal task, protect their body from unnecessary exposure. Close doors and curtains when appropriate. Knock before entering bedrooms or bathrooms whenever circumstances allow. Explain what you're doing before providing personal care. A client requiring assistance does not mean they've lost their right to modesty. Clients have the right to participate in their care. Encourage them to communicate their preferences and concerns. Whenever appropriate, involve them rather than talking around them. Imagine sitting in a room while two people discuss your health, abilities, and daily life as if you aren't there. That's not how we want our clients to feel. Speak with the client, not simply about the client. A major purpose of home care is maintaining independence. Faster doesn't always mean better. You might be able to button a client's shirt in 10 seconds, while it takes them 2 minutes. If they can safely do it themselves, allow them the opportunity. Don't automatically take over every task. Encourage clients to safely perform the activities they're capable of performing. Maintaining independence can support confidence, dignity, mobility, and quality of life. This is extremely important. A client may refuse care. For example, your service plan may indicate that the client should receive a shower, but the client tells you they don't want one today. Your responsibility is not to physically force that client into the shower. Explain the importance of the care appropriately and attempt reasonable encouragement when appropriate. If the client continues to refuse, respect the refusal, maintain their immediate safety, notify the appropriate supervisor when required, and document the situation according to agency procedures. Never falsify your documentation and say you provided care that the client refused. Respecting a client's right to refuse does not mean ignoring the situation. Suppose a client repeatedly refuses meals, personal care, or another important service. That may represent a change in condition or create a health or safety concern. You should follow agency procedures for reporting the refusal. Document what occurred objectively. Don't write that the client was being difficult. Instead, document the facts. For example, client declined scheduled shower and stated she did not want a shower today. Care partner offered assistance and explained that assistance remained available. Client continued to decline. Supervisor notified. That's objective documentation. Every client has the right to receive care without abuse, neglect, exploitation, mistreatment, harassment, intimidation, or retaliation. Agnes and Sandy's Caring Hands has zero tolerance for abusive or neglectful behavior. This includes physical actions as well as verbal and emotional mistreatment. We will discuss abuse, neglect, exploitation, warning signs, and reporting requirements extensively in Lesson 2.3. Care partners must maintain strict financial boundaries. Never borrow money from a client. Never ask a client for money. Never access a client's bank account or financial information outside of an explicitly authorized agency process. Never use a client's debit card, credit card, checks, or cash for yourself. And never pressure or influence a client regarding gifts, wills, property, or financial decisions. If your assignment involves an approved purchase or errand for a client, follow the agency's procedures for handling funds, receipts, and documentation. As we discussed during our HIPAA lesson, clients have privacy and confidentiality rights. Don't gossip about clients. Don't share information with unauthorized family members. Don't post client information online. Don't discuss their private circumstances with your own friends or relatives. What you learn while caring for a client must be handled professionally. Clients have the right to express concerns and make complaints about their services. Never discourage a client from contacting the office. Never become angry because someone complained about you. And never retaliate against a client because they reported a concern. If a client tells you they're unhappy with something, listen respectfully and notify the appropriate supervisor when necessary. Don't argue with them or attempt to pressure them into withdrawing a complaint. Clients should understand the services they're receiving and know how to communicate questions or concerns to the agency. As a care partner, however, don't independently promise new services, additional hours, schedule changes, or services outside the approved service plan. If a client or family wants something changed, communicate the request to the office. Your client's service plan tells you what services have been authorized and how care should be provided. Follow it. A family member may sometimes ask you to perform something that isn't included in the service plan. Don't simply agree because you want to be helpful. Contact the office when you're asked to perform something outside your assigned responsibilities. The agency may need to evaluate the request and update the client's services appropriately. The relationship also includes client responsibilities. Clients and their representatives should provide accurate information necessary for care, communicate relevant changes, participate in service planning, and treat agency personnel appropriately. They should also help maintain an environment where services can be delivered safely. A care partner should never assume that being a caregiver means you must tolerate threats, violence, sexual harassment, dangerous conditions, or other serious inappropriate behavior. If you feel unsafe, follow agency procedures and contact your supervisor. Sometimes client choice and safety can appear to conflict. Suppose a client repeatedly attempts to walk without their prescribed mobility assistance and is at significant risk of falling. You should not simply say, "It's their choice," and ignore the situation. Provide appropriate assistance within your role, follow the service plan, and report safety concerns or changes to the agency. Respect for client rights and protecting client safety work together. What should you do? You can respectfully encourage the client and determine whether there is a reason for the refusal. Maybe they're cold, maybe they're tired, maybe they're experiencing pain, maybe they simply don't want to shower right now. Do not force them. Follow agency procedures for reporting and documenting the refusal when required. Most importantly, never document that a shower occurred when it did not. A family member being involved does not automatically mean the client loses their rights. Don't make assumptions about someone's authority or the client's decision-making status. Follow the established service plan and agency instructions. If you're uncertain about who has legal authority or what information should be communicated, contact your supervisor. Care partners should not independently make legal or capacity determinations. Don't simply accept the money. Thank the client for their kindness and follow Agnes and Sandy's caring hands policy regarding gifts. Financial boundaries protect you as much as they protect the client. What feels innocent today could later create allegations of exploitation or undue influence. When money, valuables, or significant gifts are involved, contact the agency. Don't perform an unauthorized service simply because the client asks. Explain respectfully that you need to follow their service plan and agency procedures. Contact your supervisor about the request. The answer may eventually be yes, but that decision needs to be handled appropriately through the agency. Your responsibility can be summarized with 5 words: protect, respect, observe, report, document, protect the client's safety and privacy. Respect their dignity, choices, home, and rights. Observe for changes or concerns. Report important information through the proper channels. And document the care you actually provided accurately. Remember, receiving home care does not mean surrendering independence or dignity. Our job is not to take control of someone's life. Our job is to provide appropriate assistance while promoting safety, independence, dignity, and quality of life. Treat every client the way a professional caregiver should want their own loved one treated. If you're uncertain about a client's rights, a requested service, a refusal, or another situation, contact your supervisor before taking action.